How's it going, everybody? I started recording this with the intent to do a regular review as opposed to an unboxing video, but it's a unique situation with this figure's shape and proportions that I think is worthy of drawing attention to how it had to be packaged. It comes sandwiched inside of a two-piece bubble card, and it's exactly what you'll expect. I mean, even the wing that's extended out here still had to be folded up. Of course, you get a box charger, a stand for this figure to hang upside down like bats do in real life, and the character itself. So there's a quick look at how this thing had to be packaged, but at any rate, let's get into the review. Alright, we're back. Today we're going to be taking a look at this new figure called BB-64 Radioheadar, which is 5T Toys' unique take on a robotic bat. This one's part of what's becoming a trend with 5T Toys, where more Beastboxes are including a third mode. We'll also take a quick look at the package details, a deep dive into figure details including its third mode and this bonus item, and we'll see how that fits into the whole scheme of this figure. And not only that, we're also going to do a transformation demo, round it off with a box grade, and close this review out with some final thoughts. There's quite a bit of ground to cover with this little dude, so we'll get right into it. We'll start this off with a quick look at some package details. As previously shown with my Onitopty review, the package design has some nice graphic updates. The character number designator pill is skewed, iconography showing that it does indeed have a third mode, and mega-sized wing spread, which is absolutely true. Nice artwork all the way around. We're looking at a box mode, beast mode, and aircraft mode, and designed by their in-house team X2R, who did brilliant work on this figure as they always do. I want to take a quick look at what 5T Toys says about Radioheadar before we jump into figure details. As usual, it has beautiful artwork on the front, and look at that! We have a dash in the character number. Nicely done, 5T Toys. Around the back, we have Radioheadar's character lore. It's nighttime again, and welcome to Steel City, boss. This is the Midnight Crime Scene Special Program. We have all sorts of mischief here, from atomic reactor smuggling, the gangster firefight. Tell us what terrific job you were onto right now, and you could be the crime star of tomorrow. Alright, let's welcome our guest for the night, the brutal boy and ferocious fella, Lithiumon and Acid Ghost. So, Lithiumon and Acid Ghost are completely separate figures, and I have no idea what they have to do with this specific character. It's a complete non sequitur, boss. Really funny. Jumping right in, the wingspan is indeed mega-sized. If you don't have a roller handy, you could still measure with Unis units. This guy is effectively 2 Unises wide. Thanks, buddy.
You betcha.
On a quick note, 5T Toys keeps improving their manufacturing capabilities concurrently with increasingly sophisticated figure designs. These wings are sturdy enough to hold the whole structure of this character on the wingtips. You might think these long, thin wing panels would be floppy, but they aren't in the least, so that's a very nice bonus that isn't promoted as a feature, but 5T Toys should absolutely be commended for nailing this critical component. Something else I had theorized for quite a while was, if they did a bat in the future, 5T Toys could very well just have retooled the pterodactyl mold, which I think would have worked and would have sold, but 5T Toys, being the forward-thinking design shop that they are, obviously had a better idea and went above and beyond and did something much cooler. And the result speaks for itself. It's a fantastic figure and a testament to their love for design and the heart and soul that they put into their products. I think their approach to not cutting corners on figure designs is really a testament, in my opinion, to 5T Toys' status in the industry as a premium toy maker. Getting into some details, obviously there's some very incredible dynamic sculpting on these wings. Tons of joints and articulation. You've got these little articulated hinges, these little turbines, beautiful hexagonal pattern on these transparent wing panels. It's all over very nicely done. I also love the green and gold paint applications. Although these gold sections are a softer type of plastic and seem just a little bit out of place with the build quality of this figure. Radioheadar has very charming huge bat wings, painted red eyes, and nicely sculpted chest piece with an aviator faction symbol. So turning around to the backside, we got a couple of odd bits here. You got these weird little bat pods in the shape of vampire bats. I don't know. 5T Toys has a long history of including jokey details on their figures wherever they can. Sometimes I don't think it's necessarily appropriate. To that point, I think these are kind of tacky and detract from the overall sophisticated and somewhat dangerous aesthetic of this character. On the plus side, these are detachable, and this is the last time you're going to see these things in this review. Another oddity is this large tailpiece. This will come into play later on with its third mode, but at least in its main back mode, you're effectively seeing the hollowed out interior of this panel. Not really the best look for such a high quality figure. As far as articulation, there's quite a bit to work with. I mean, Radioheadar has knee and hip joints. Its little tootsies can pivot down so you can have it in a completely natural looking flying pose. Its ears are completely articulated. They can rotate and pivot inward and outward and fold all the way back. The head has a complete range of motion and can tilt up 90 degrees. and rotate left and right. Even the little mouth can open up. Radioheadar is very nicely articulated all around. The marquee feature, its wings has multiple joints so you can fold these up like so. They can tilt up, and you can easily get this thing into poses that are completely realistic and natural to how bats maneuver and behave in real life. 5.2 Toys absolutely nailed the physical dynamics of this figure. Another great feature is, you can pivot these pieces up and this little dude can rest on his included perch. You just slide his little tootsies inside the perch and it locks into position. And if you want, you can fold its ears while it's taking a snooze, fold its wings around like so, and with this 3mm peg you can attach it to a stand. In this case, I've got down spirals gantry, and just like that, you've got yourself a little bat that's hanging upside down on his perch. This is really cool. The attention to detail and the fact that they put all these animal characteristics into their figure is astounding. How could you not love the type of products that these guys make? One more thing that's a little bit unfortunate is, and this is true for many of their aviator figures, there's no easily accessible 3mm hole on the bottom side, so you can't really get your dude into a flying pose easily. There are a couple of ways around it though. Like I showed in the intro, you could use that 3mm hole to have this little dude positioned vertically. You can also pop the chest open to access a hidden port, so you can position it horizontally. It's a bit of an awkward look, but if you get a little creative, it definitely works. Alright, let's take a look at this bonus item. And as you can see, it's another quarter-size cartridge style piece. And by quarter size, I mean you can stack 4 pieces of this same shape together and they fit neatly inside of a box charger. So what you got here is a pretty simple design for this bonus item piece here. Pretty simple transformation. It has a few different ways you can configure it. One is a standalone little radar dish transporter or whatever you want to call it. You just flip these pieces around to reveal the wheels on it. Then you pop these pegs open to get it into position. And you're rotating this thing around 180 degrees. Then this radar dish will need to fold up and over. Then I'll pull it up to the slider here. And finally rotate that piece up and around to get the dish into position. Then you got yourself a little rolling radar dish. It does sort of roll. These wheels do roll, but they're so low to the ground that they really can't get much traction. So that's the first mode. Second mode is you can flip this piece around, plug it back in here, and you got a radar dish that can fit essentially behind Radioheadar's head. That kind of works, and there's one thing that we know about bats, they love them some radar. The third mode is sort of a hybrid vehicle. The way you do that is you take the wings off and you're left with this little guy. He may not have his wings, but he'll still do a happy little jig for you. This figure is designed around the concept of a whole lot of, but wait, there's more. And there is definitely more to show off. The way we're going to do that is start by flipping this piece up. We'll take the ears, they fold down and they clamp together, sort of like a little bat helmet. The head will fold up and over. These little pieces will fold up and over, and they sort of look like stylized aerodynamic fins. Then we're going to start maneuvering his legs around. We're going to split apart this torso like so, and we're going to do this one leg at a time. So what you have to do is maneuver these pieces around like so. What's going to wind up happening is this leg's eventually going to wind up and over and rest on top of this piece right here. We'll fold this leg around the hinge up and around. Then from here with the ball socket, you'll just want to make sure you rotate it up and over so you get the opposite side showing. Then you're going to rotate it up and over like so. This section should look like this. These little grooves are going to fit inside this little section and they'll pop into place. Then you're going to rotate this whole piece back around and it'll slide into position against the midsection. Same on the opposite side. This gold piece stays attached inside that piece, and you'll just want to make sure you pull the hinge back. What you're looking for is these grooves which will attach to these tabs and it just comes right down on top of it. The last part is this piece that needs to come up and out. You'll just slide it out. Rotate it around 180 degrees, and these little tabs will lock into place inside this panel. It's almost like a little speedboat, it has a little bit of a chin on it. Then finally, this crotch piece is just going to fold back into position, and you've got the whole of this very odd hybrid vehicle. I'm not going to lie, I had a bitch of a time trying to put this thing together in a way that made sense, and the end result is disappointing no matter how you do it. I'll show a couple ways to attach the wheels the wrong way and the not quite as wrong way. You can just use the pegs that are built in for a nice clean look with the wheels and these chevrons on the front end. That looks good, however, the problem is if you do it that way, the wheels can't touch the ground and this thing won't be able to roll at all. So really the way I think you have to do it is to get these wheels to connect to the ground is attach those pegs to the opposite side and have the chevrons facing on the back end. As far as I can tell, this is the only way that'll give it enough ground clearance for the wheels to touch the ground. You just want to make sure it's lined up on both sides, then attach them where it makes sense. It'll actually connect to the ground and somewhat roll. A glaring design flaw is there's nothing connecting the wheel assemblies to the back end, so they have nothing to grab onto and they just sort of flop around. I don't know. My feeling is this is a pretty janky crap design. I mean, it's literally shown as an option on the bonus item card. Note the chevrons facing forward, but it does not work very well at all. You can attach the radar dish and you got yourself a little roving planetary explorer. I mean, it looks alright, but it really doesn't work all that great. Moving on, we're going to show its vehicle mode. And it's pretty simple. You're just taking the main body of the bat and reattach its wings in a way they'd normally be positioned in the midsection of the body. Basically just fold them up and over like so. Everything's going to get folded up and around. We're going to detach this middle panel in this piece so everything can fold down. This piece is going to act as sort of a fin, and this tab right here will connect to that slot. Get it folded up and around and you're going to go for that look right there. So you get this double-decker wing thing. I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe a futuristic attack jet or something like that. Same deal on the other side. You're just detaching both of these panels right here and fold them up and over again. You're going to attach that tab to that section and fold that piece down and around. I will say that these tabs right here look like they should connect to these slots, but they don't quite line up, so unfortunately the bottom half of this thing is completely dependent on friction to hold it in place. I think this is one of those pieces where it's interesting, looks kind of cool, but at the same time you obviously have to use your imagination. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a fully formed design. Moving forward, we're going to transform this character into its box mode. First thing we want to do, we want to take these panels and fold them down like so. We're going to detach these articulated pieces, and they're going to flip around and collapse in on themselves with tab and groove connections. Next thing you want to do is detach the wingtip and fold it up and over, and it collapses in on itself just like so. Around the backside, that piece is going to fold in and connect with that tab. We'll do the same on the opposite side. These tips are going to collapse inward just like so. Around the backside, these are on hinges, and they're just going to fold up and over. And we're going to start detaching panels on this wing. Pop that piece off, and then it's going to fold up and over. This piece will pop right off. You're going to fold this piece up, then it's going to rotate around and connect to the opposite side. And same thing on the other side. With these particular tabs, you want to make sure that they're folded around so they can connect to the opposite port for the next step. It'll plug in right here. Then we'll take the wing midsections and rotate them up like so. This piece will fold down and collapse into the backside of the tail. Then we're going to come back around to the chest. It'll pop up and out for now. And this entire midsection will need to rotate 180 degrees. We're going to fold the chest piece back down and reconnect it. This piece will pop up like so. You want to make sure these little tootsies are folded down, and then you're going to rotate them up 90 degrees and then rotate them sideways. This is where we're at so far. From here, you're going to rotate the hip section up and around, and you get this little piece connected to that peg. It'll fold up and over and snap into place. Now we'll collapse the ears, connect them together, and you're going to take that piece, rotate it around 180 degrees, and the head will tuck into that cavity. The top portion of the wings are going to rotate around like so. Then we'll fold the center sections at a 90-degree angle. Make sure the top panels are rotated forward, then collapse them down on top of that. And you're starting to see some corners on your box. You'll rotate these pieces up and around. Note the way these teeth have to mesh together. These pieces are going to fold up and over. What you're looking for is this peg to connect to that slot, and it'll snap into place. Finally, the whole tail assembly will form the final side. These pieces are going to fold into these grooves. Scrunch up the box a bit if needed, and you got yourself a box mode. And of course it fits right into its box charger. Now it's time to give this bat a box grade, boss. This is my rating system of 6 categories of 5 points each for a total score of anything between 0 to 30 points. Radioheadar's bat characteristics are spot on and very charming. On the other hand, its name is awkward wordplay, the little gold bat pods are tacky, and its alternate modes are so bad, they actually detract from the overall experience of owning this thing. I personally prefer figures that do a couple of things really well rather than be a grab bag of mediocre features. 2 out of 5. The flip side of that opinion is, more configurations mean more options to let your imagination run wild, even if they're flawed. If you don't care about its shortcomings, you're going to love what you can do with this. But on the other hand, if you're like me, you won't care at all about Radioheadar's alt modes. 3 out of 5. This figure has a novel transformation, as is often the case of Beastboxes with unique shapes. It's not hard, fun to do, and is nicely formed in its box mode. 4 out of 5. Radioheadar's articulation is stunning. Its wings are fully articulated and easy to manipulate, and it has full posability right down to its tiny jaw and legs. 5 out of 5. Construction is pretty good, albeit with some soft gold plastic bits and loads of transparent panels that could very quickly become problematic. As a point of reference, very late in this review after I'd already filmed it, I found a significant crack forming around a major joint, and there's a very real possibility that that part is eventually going to break. 2 out of 5. All things considered, Radioheadar does have a lot to offer. Even with its flaws, I'm really enjoying this little guy. 4 out of 5. And that brings the box grade total to 20 out of 30. I would dare say that with regard to any other mechanical bat-type creature on the market, 5.2 Toys absolutely set the standard that every other toy maker should try to follow. As far as I know, nothing similar comes close to what this figure can do. Radioheadar's bonus items look cool, It's well intentioned but bad enough that I think you won't be missing anything if you decide to skip it. As far as the alt modes, I have to acknowledge that a kid might get a lot more out of this than I do. But again, the Bat itself is so good. If you're thinking about buying Radioheadar, just get it. You're gonna love it. That's all I have today. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you can leave a like, comment, or the usual social stuff to help out this channel, I'll greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much, and I'll be back with more content hopefully sooner than later. Have a great day.
Behold your new Satan!
Ozzy?
No!